Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. Today is Monday, April 9th. How the hell are you? Yes, indeed. We made it through the weekend and got a great new sponsor here. Do you wear contacts? You wear glasses and you want to wear contacts? You've never tried them? You want some free contacts? I want to get some contacts, man. My glasses are always just fucking dirty. All like foggy and shit. I love glasses, but then after a while, I'm like, these suck. I want to go contacts. You want to get some free contacts? Go to Simple Contacts. How cool is that? Some Delray, get some Simple Contacts. Go to simplecontacts.com and punch in the code Z6X7K6. One more time, that code is Z6X7K6, and you can get yourself a test ride on these incredible Simple Contacts, man. Get yourself some. There's no excuse, man. Free for all the Delray. Also, I want to give another shout out to my incredible friend Sam Can Cook from Stone Creek Bistro. Stone Creek Bistro basically catered my incredible tribute to Bon Scott, and he also catered my 50th birthday, and this guy's food is incredible. Some of the best food I've had in a long time, man. Go to stonecreekbistro.com, find out all about it, or follow him on Instagram or Facebook, Stone Creek Bistro. Hit him up, man. Make a reservation. Tell him Delray sent you. This guy is an incredible chef, makes some amazing food, and I cannot thank him enough. I can't tell you how good this food is. And one more big shout out. Speaking of the AC/DC Jam, I want to give a shout out to Solo Dallas Amplifiers. This guy, Phil, man, he came down and he brought all the great AC/DC Marshall amps and heads, cabinets, and the wireless unit that Angus himself uses, this crazy wireless unit. Check him out on Instagram. It's definitely a fantastic follow, and it is, I'll give you the spelling real quick. It is SOLODALLAS, Solo Dallas. Yeah. Check him out. Solo Dallas, you want to get some rock and roll in your life, hit him up. He makes the Schaefer wireless replica. And you want to know what that is? He's going to be a guest here pretty soon, and we'll be talking all about that stuff. And he makes incredible boutique replicas of the Marshall that Angus Young uses. So that's going to be a pretty damn cool episode. Here we are. How are you guys? My main man, Michael Devin, is joining me today, and we're going to do a little recap of what was probably one of the most incredible nights of my life. It was on April 3rd at the Avalon Theater, which used to be the Palace in Los Angeles, across the street from the world-famous Capitol Records building, where we did a tribute to Bon Scott. And to say that it was monumental is or to me at least, is an understatement. It was absolutely insane. Wouldn't you say, buddy?
Yes, Dean, I would say. I am waiting for the tribute to David Coverdale.
Oh, well, fucking, I mean, what era? What era would we do? Still of the Night? Or would we do Deep Purple? Early White Snake, the stuff everybody likes?
Pre-blonde highlights, if you don't mind, Dean.
Pre-blonde highlights?
Pre-blonde highlights.
Oh, my God.
The brunette era.
The brunette era. Pre-Tawny Katane.
Pre-Tawny Katane, pre-Jaguar dancing frivolities.
Well, maybe we cover the Jimmy Page era where you just got slayed for being Robert Plant. You can't even get out of that. No. What up, dude?
What up, my brother?
Here we are, man.
Dude, here we are again after the aftermath of such a killer concert and evening and basically like that whole week, because the rehearsal was fun and everything leading up to it was just great. Like the collective that you have managed to put together on not only this show, but like every show I've done with you or everything. I mean, guys, there's really only one other, but it's just an awesome collection of people, dude. Like, yeah. And it I don't know, man. I mean, you definitely have the gift to bringing people together that all kind of, on the same frequency.
Like you and I have done a lot of jams over the years.
Yeah.
And also growing up, I worship rock and roll, but I also worshipped Bill Graham, and I loved how he would do things and operate.
Yeah.
And people are like, I can't believe you're doing all this on your own. But to me, there's only one way to do it, and it's right. And I try to do it as right as I can. And I always see the hiccups on the jams that we end up doing,
right.
Yeah. And I feel so lucky to be able to know a lot of you guys over the years and have a friendship, and be able to do something like this is so insane. And the way it's so funny to think that where I had to go to put together the ultimate rock and roll show was through comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything I've gotten from rock and roll in the last 5 years is through comedy, which is amazing. I was in Guitar Player magazine from Brendan Smalls and Steve Agee's show, Baked.
Yep.
And then, over the years of interviewing people like Rudy Sarzo and Nikki Sixx and Greg Dooley.
Yeah.
And, Scott Ian coming up. I'm about to interview him. But, I mean, just over the years of having these friendships made from the podcast, from comedy, it's an interesting thing to think, and
but it really exemplifies what people always talk about with rock and roll and comedy, how they kind of have this symbiotic relationship between. Because, I mean, think about it. Some of the funniest people are in rock bands. And all comedians, for some reason, gravitate toward rock and roll and music. There really is this funny
it's that old school
relationship.
Danger thing comedy.
We live kind of the same lives in a lot of ways, especially on the road and sitting in rooms and being alone. And figuring out how to bide your time without killing yourself,
Here's an interesting thing that I realized. Now, a lot of people are like, yay, you're going to take this on the road and all this. I got to give you guys a heads up in the reality of what we're talking about here. The magnitude of stars that were on this are not able to tour, and they go out and make giant money on their own.
Right.
This is just like you can't go, hey man,
hey Nikki Sixx, you want to come do
Bill
this?
Burr.
Hey Bill
Marin,
Burr.
you guys want to just scratch your arena tours? Joey
done with the
Diaz,
forum.
you know what I mean. Hey Rudy, Greg Dooley.
Yeah.
I think that people don't understand really how fucking difficult it is to put something like this together because of people's schedules.
Absolutely.
I mean, my birthday, I usually do it on my birthday, which is February 3rd, but it took this long to put it together because of people's schedules.
Yeah.
And at any moment, somebody could fall out because they got a movie or a tour or whatever.
Absolutely.
So to tour this thing, which would be look, in a real world it'd be hilarious and fun. Shoot a documentary for Netflix.
Absolutely.
These rockers in comedy go out and tear it up, but it's not feasible. I mean, for you and I, it is. We're like, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, we're road dogs.
Well, also we're like, this would be great.
Yes.
The other guys are like, here's my calendar for the next 2 years. It's full.
Yeah, exactly.
So believe me, if you didn't see it, I've been doing this thing. I used to do it in the 80s and the early 90s with Josh Z and Billy Rowe, and Ronnie Crawford would play drums, and we would rotate kind of bass players. And that was kind of the gig towards the end. And how it started was on my birthday, I'd pick an AC/DC record, and I'd have like 5 or 6 of my favorite bands play 2 songs from the record. And that's how it really started in San Francisco at the Stone. Then I realized that is a lot of work because you got to get a whole band up there.
Yep.
They play 2 songs, then they get off, then a whole band gets up and
And
they
makes
got
their
fucking
adjustments.
pedal boards
Yeah.
and drums. Yeah, and it really kind of ruins the flow. It was
You
fun.
never get momentum with
You
that.
don't get it. You don't
We've
get
seen
the
that in
feel.
those other shows we've done.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! You know,
Dude, you
just
want to pull your
down.
eyes out. Yeah.
It's just so boring. So
Yeah.
I realized the way to do it is to get like a core group and rotate 1 or 2 dudes in every couple songs.
Yeah.
And to me that felt great. And we did it on my 50th birthday 2 years ago. And what I realized 2 years ago compared to this one was 2 years ago, it seemed like most people came for the comedy and a lot of people left during the concert. This time, it seemed like everyone was there for the concert.
Yeah.
If you look at the photos of the front row, the front 10 rows, everyone's wearing AC/DC shirts.
Yeah.
So that was amazing. And I think there was people there that were seeing comedy for their first time, which is amazing.
And let's not forget the numbers of people that flew in from different regions of the country
That was mind-boggling.
to see this.
When we opened the doors, I was greeting people at the door.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to get the flavor.
Yeah.
And guys were coming up like, "Oh, dude, I flew in from Dallas. Hey, I flew in from Fort Worth. I flew in from Florida. Detroit. Portland. Tempe, Arizona. New York. Vegas.
Wow.
People from all around came in for this.
Yeah, cross country, man.
That was wild, man.
Yeah.
And when I look at the ticket, I would have flew in for it.
Yeah.
You got to see Bill Burr, Marin, Joey Diaz. I did comedy too, but I mean those 3 headliners on doing comedy, and then you got to see some incredible musicians that never get together.
Let's not forget Steve on drums, man.
Steve
Gorman.
absolutely was the secret weapon of this thing. You and him, man, laying
Oh my
it down.
God.
You know,
I was in heaven. There were times, man, I was just so in the moment, in the, in that just spot where you're just like, my God, like I'm kind of having an out-of-body musical experience here because his pocket's so solid. You know what I mean? I could go on forever about him as a drummer, but goddamn.
so fucking underrated, this guy.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, man, that guy's incredible.
His
I'm like,
meter is just rock
I've seen
solid.
the Black Crowes over 30, 35 times. Probably a band I've seen the most in my life, besides like Y&T or something locally, San Francisco. But I would see that band, and I would fly all over to see him. I went to New York, watched him 5 nights. I saw him at Voodoo Fest. I've seen him at Laguna Seca with Dylan. I saw him many times. The Stone, the Warfield, the Fillmore multiple nights.
I never asked you. Did you ever see the Crows and Page? Did you ever see that?
I was supposed to open up on the Bay Area show, and then, the whole thing fell apart. Supposedly Pages, fell down the stairs or whatever, hips.
Yeah.
But then Steve was on and said that's not what happened.
Of course.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to the Steve episodes, they're incredible, and he'll tell you all about it, which, by the way, he's writing a book, and he was telling me it's going to be pretty outlaw.
Juicy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got stories, man. I mean,
But the guy is a fucking drum god.
yes, he is.
If you watch him on the Zeppelin stuff, he murdered that
Yes,
shit.
he did.
He's
got the feel for it, man. And he's got the feel for Phil Rudd as well.
He does.
He's got the feel for AC/DC, man. He just laid a bed down and putting a bass down, as AC/DC music is. It's a very controlled bass environment. You don't get to walk all over the place. You got to just lay it down with the drums. And having that rhythm section in place is pretty essential for pulling off AC/DC, because it's not easy to pull that off. People just think it's 3 chords and
Nope.
and go, but it's not.
I knew it was great. Not once did I even think about the drums.
Yeah.
Not once. That's when you know when a drummer is like a ghost back there.
Yeah.
That's when you have the ultimate drummer.
Absolutely.
Not once are you going like, what's going on with the drums here? Oh, that's how fucking incredible he is.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Dave Kushner, who helps me every time with mates for rehearsals. I love you, Dave. And Dave tore it up, man. He came down with his badass
that
SG. Oh, the Jeff Tweedy SG.
Tweedy, yeah.
Oh, my God.
You better lock that thing up, Kushner.
I want that thing, man. That thing was beautiful. It was like a Pelham blue, but almost silvery.
Yeah, it had almost like the machine gun gray kind of thing in there too. Very unique with that little tremolo arm. It's not the Bixby, but the little...
it's the one that's like the mother of pearl handle, the classic like Angus one.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that guitar, man,
hurt me.
Yeah.
It was like that one you had for a minute. Inside joke, guys.
Oh, dude. But, dude, Billy Rowe,
Billy Rowe.
Just rock solid on rhythms. And I mean, Josh.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You know.
Well, we're going to give you a little rundown. There's a guy named Josh Z, and you want to follow him on Josh Z Guitars on Instagram. Josh Z is a guy. There's guys in the world out there that play, and when you see him, you go, what the fuck? And you cannot believe there's not justice in the world to where this guy's not one of the most famous dudes ever. You know what I mean?
Because he has tricks. He's got licks that even the other night, if you were in attendance at the show, you did not get to see because he's got this whole other language with Southern fried rockabilly country rock licks. He's a finger picker, man. That guy can do some really magnificent stuff.
Well, him and his wife, Teal,
the Mother Truckers. Man.
Mother Truckers. I grew up in the Bay Area, and of course they lived in Marin. I'll give you a rundown on Josh. He had a band called Protein, 3-piece band.
Danny Thompson, my buddy, was in that band.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Russ played bass, and they were a 3-piece band, and they were very outside the box, which was what was happening in the Bay Area at the time with your Primus and your Faith No Mores and stuff. It wasn't your standard rock and roll. It was rock music, but it went a little out of the box.
Esoteric, I believe, is how they refer to it sometimes.
Very cool, man. And Josh was a guy that I tried to play in bands for many years together because I was like, he is the guy. We could do a kind of an AC/DC rock band that would crush. And Josh is a lot like me where he has his vision and he wants to do something. So I respect that. And he started that band, Protein. Mm-hmm. He built it from the ground up. They became a humongous San Francisco band, signed a big record deal on Sony, put a record out. And, of course, that was kind of the weird era where everything was all over the board, and they got lost in the shuffle. I don't really know what happens, but I should interview Josh when I'm in San Fran in a couple weeks. Anyway, Josh then moves to Austin, Texas with his wife, becomes engulfed in, of course, all of us fell in love with alt country. Yep. And singer-songwriter and all that, and he becomes engulfed in that, moves to Austin for years. Mother Truckers, very successful, played all over the place, and now they've moved back to the Bay Area, and which is great, and Josh has done this the last couple of years, and I'm waiting for him to get into some. To me, it's like it was like I think it was Nikki or someone said, "How are those guys free agents?" Like you and him, and even Steve. Steve's in. Trigger Hippie now. They got a new record coming out, which is great. But when you see players floating around, people always say, like, man, do you miss playing music? And I'm like, I would if those were the guys I was playing with. It was you, Steve, let's say Billy, and
Josh.
Yeah. And we were doing some kind of a rock band that was in a flavor of like, just straight ahead, I don't know. Yeah. What we'd come up with,
But it would be rocking.
It'd be rocking.
Yeah.
We would have some faces in there.
Yeah.
We'd have some, I don't know, we'd have some alt country. We'd have some Zeppelin flavor. Yeah. That's what would be great. We'd all bring these flavors and it would probably be pretty damn original.
Yeah. I agree.
I do I do feel something that's crazy. And I said it last time after the gig. It's really hard when you've stepped out of rock as long as I have and get back into it to deal with volume.
Ah, yes.
That's an assault.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's fun for a while.
Yes, but it's a tangible, palpable entity that you must deal with in this profession. It's real.
Yeah, like, and as you get older, you can't hear, so shit goes up and up and up. When you're out with Whitesnake, are you guys in-ears?
Yeah, we're in-ears, and it took me a while to kind of surrender to that way, that mode of performing, because it's kind of like wearing a condom a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm not a huge fan, but I also know that it's the safer way.
Right.
But you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's like, well, this is, I suppose, a safer alternative. And I will say that, yes, it is when you're playing, say, clubs, right? Like when I was playing, doing some, like, for example, my tinnitus, my hearing went south fast when I was playing with Brian Tishy on drums and George Lynch on guitar when we were doing the Lynch Mob era with Oni Logan. It was so loud, and we were playing these small clubs, and it was just piercing. And I came home from that run with some ear issues. Like, it took me a while to come down from that. And going out with say, Whitesnake, where we play bigger venues, the in-ear thing doesn't translate so well for me in that regard. I do enjoy in the bigger, like the amphitheaters, I enjoy the wedges, the world, like with Jason Bonham last summer, no in-ears, and it was just all building that little world of bass in your wedges, and man, I could keep my volumes at a reasonable level. It's really just those cymbals that start working on you, but yeah, in Whitesnake we do it, but I don't really know what the long-term effects are going to be like. I've got these in-ears that are kind of cranked in my ears, and they're stuffed way down into my ear canal. Like, what is that doing in the long term? You know? When I came home from the show the other night, it took a while for me to, like, I can't lay on my right ear because I hear all those funny, tones.
I went earplugs the whole time, the pro ones.
You did. I went foamies.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like one of those things, every now and again, I'll pull one out, and then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to balance how to enjoy the show with how to protect the ears. Because like you say, man, I mean, as we get older in this game, think about how many decades we have been subjecting our ears to this.
100%. Since I've been about 12.
And you can't go back. There's no like, okay, I'm taking 5 years off from rock and roll, and my ears are going to recover. This is not your liver.
When I do the bit about my ears fried, that's a real bit.
Yeah,
and people laugh, and I'm like,
laugh. Yeah, you're laughing.
But, you're laughing. But this right ear don't work.
Right.
It's interesting because singing is so fucking hard because I only had the center wedges at this gig. There was no side fill.
No side fills.
So if I went off to the right or left, I was completely lost on key and everything. Like, because it's just like a fucking wavery, it's
it's like yelling into the ocean. You're not, right?
You're just kind of like, is this even in key? Like sometimes I was like, and you get a waver. Mm-hmm. Of guys, two guitars, super loud.
Oh,
and you're trying
and
to
tuning from time to time. You're like, okay, somebody's a little bit.
Yeah, but it's rock and roll.
Yeah, and that's where in-ears would come in really handy for you.
Yeah, see, and also with in-ears, you can sing without screaming.
Yes, you can.
Right.
Yes, you can, and you can trust, or you hope that the guy out front says,
push you up.
That's where he's at dB-wise. Because otherwise, I mean, I have the same experience when I did Steamroller with Doug Aldridge and, again, Brian Tishy, two loud mofos in these tiny little clubs in, Sweden, Italy, Greece, wherever. I mean, these are just small clubs with really, minimal PA. It's like the three of us are playing in Zeppelin or something, Sabbath. And it's like, okay, and I'm supposed to sing over the top of this. How?
Right.
We have pinned this,
Yeah.
That's when I surrendered, and I said, you know what? I'm going to buy a little in-ear. I already had the molds. I just said, I'm going to get myself a wireless unit, and I will travel with this thing. I don't care if the guys bust my balls because they did. Like, oh, no, you got the in-ears, whatever, dude. Come talk to me in 25 years.
Yeah.
And not only that, I wanted to get...
You want to sing
And
good.
I want to grow as a singer.
Right.
You know what I mean? I came into singing late in the game. I want to get better. I'm not going to get better just hollering into the abyss,
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I would say in that situation, yeah, you would definitely need... in-ears, but where you were planted all night, you were in a sweet spot because you could hear your vocal.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It was one of the better nights I had as far as being able to hear.
Yeah.
It was hard to sing Livewire by Motley because I realized all this time that I had been singing it way higher.
Uh-huh.
And then when I put on the record, because when I imitate Vince for fun, I'm like, plug me in, I'm alive tonight, out on the streets again.
Yeah,
That's way higher than it is.
Than it is.
It's more like, plug me in, I'm alive tonight. So then, all of a sudden, my power was gone.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I don't have the power at this other level.
Yeah.
So it was
interesting, right?
a lot of fun things to figure out. And also... there were songs that I'd never sung. We did the Powerage record, people. Here's what we did.
The best AC/DC record ever, and I fell in love with it all over again because we did that show. Okay, go.
40-year anniversary of it next month.
Wow.
Didn't even know.
Didn't know that either.
Didn't either. Wow. Well, the plan was to do the Powerage record and then a few tunes. So AC/DC always with Bon Scott would open with Livewire. So we opened with Livewire. And then we play the Powerage record, and then we close with Motley Crue Livewire because... Nikki Sixx was going to do the show, and then we play "Let There Be Rock," and the final song was "Night Prowler," a good bring it down, let's send them out. And there were songs on Powerage that I had never sang and never really dug in really deep to what the lyrics are, although I listened to it all the time my entire life. You never sat down and went, oh, wow, I didn't know that's what he was saying here. And some of the lyrics are so fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
It is mind-boggling.
Oh, yeah.
How good they are.
They're some of them are just pure. They're poetry, feeling like a paper cup floating down the storm drain.
Yeah,
come on. Down Payment Blues has some of the greatest rock lyrics ever put down on paper, in my opinion. I mean, they're right up there.
It's incredible. Also, kicked in the teeth again.
So good.
Yeah,
that's kind of like their Black Dog in a weird way, right? But they are how I describe Bon Scott's blue period. Like that's the one record where Bon was a bit introspective and almost he was softer on the lyrical content than any record that preceded it or that would come after. Like he on Highway to Hell, he went right back to kind of the rough and tumble, cocky rooster, giving you the
high voltage.
Totally, you know what I mean? Booze, women, and rock and roll.
Right.
But Powerage, he kind of touched on it with Overdose on Let There Be Rock.
Incredible song.
That was sort of the beginnings of what would come on Powerage. But I just think that, you're totally right. They are very unique to Bon. It was sort of the only time he kind of got away with some deeper feelings about what was going on, say, in his love life, or in other
and also different style of singing.
Yes,
which is really interesting. This record. And I really was wondering if it was the producer trying to have him sing more, or whatever. And arrangements are all over the fucking board with this record. So like with Rock and Roll Damnation, zero lead, which is so crazy for an AC/DC song. No fucking lead.
No lead.
Then you get to like What's Next to the Moon and Gone Shooting.
Yeah.
These are crazy, like just weird kind of mellow style.
Vampy, kind of almost like ZZ Top meets the Stones, like they're just vamps.
Well, I saw my baby in a railroad track, darling on down the line. It's your love that I want. It's so kind of like, it's not him like Riff Raff.
No,
Riff Raff is a punch in the face.
Yes,
it is. So it's really
and kicked in the teeth.
It's an interesting record.
It sure is. And I have heard rumblings that some of the bass playing on that record is not Cliff. It's,
of course.
It's either George or Harry or somebody. But if
one
you
of the cousins or whatever.
Yeah, you can hear it if, and I'm not saying it's not him, but especially on Gone Shootin', all of that. No, not Gone Shootin'. Maybe it is Gone Shootin' I'm thinking of. But there's a lot of walking going on there, and a lot of bass playing above the 12th fret, which is rather unheard of on an AC/DC song. So I definitely question that on that record production-wise. I think about the fact that it's 1978. So they're working on this record from going 77 into 78. Punk rock is on the wane.
Right.
Disco is popping. The Bee Gees, that whole thing, the clubs, the discotheques.
Miss You.
Right. Everyone was going down that road of that disco bass line. Kiss was doing Dynasty. So there was this sort of demand in a way that even rock bands kind of go down that disco glittery road. And I think maybe that pressure or that idea, okay, because these guys needed another hit.
Yep.
The label was saying, man, you got to do it. This one, we need it. It didn't really happen outside of like Rock and Roll Damnation.
Sin City was the one that grabbed everybody as far as... Sin City is really my introduction to AC/DC.
Yeah.
You know, I hear it. I'm like, wow, what song is that? And it's funny because it's the least listened to now because I just completely burned it out of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and
me too.
I've covered it in every band when I was a kid at keg parties and everything.
Totally.
And it was very cool to sing that one again. It'd been so long.
Yeah.
And George Lynch played on
That's
it, which
right,
was cool.
Lynchy. Yeah.
And you get to that part, you know, I even wrote it longer for the the drama.
Yeah,
I waited on the down part.
Yeah.
Ladders.
Yeah.
And snakes.
Sure.
But Powerage, everything about it is a fucking masterpiece. The album cover is so beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And man, we had, if you guys look at the pictures in Instagram, we put the artwork for the show all around the venue on these giant LED screens.
Yes.
And when you walked into the venue, they made it look like the poster was on fire.
Yes.
This fucking shout out to the Avalon. They went
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. I've played rock and roll for 25 years. You've played it all your life. One of the things that really grabbed me about this gig, and everything lined up perfect, was how fucking cool the staff was.
Yeah.
It was mind-boggling.
Yeah.
The monitor guys.
Yep.
The just the security
people coming down, like the whatever you want to call them, people who are taking care of downstairs green rooms and all of that,
all
totally
that.
Cool.
Lauren, the woman that helped me do it, and Fabrice, all these guys that helped me put it together. It's just, it was amazing. The venue was a star in itself.
Yes, it was. I love that venue, dude.
It really looks incredible when you're on stage.
Oh, dude, and the way the Powerage record looked, like lit up like that, the color scheme
behind
and everything.
us.
It was so cool. And that night after I said goodbye to you guys, I tried going out a side door. And it was chained. So I said, I'll just walk through the front because I hadn't gone through the front.
Right.
And when I got into the lobby area, I saw for the first time that what you're talking about, the flames on that LED.
Oh.
Dude, I took a little video of it. I had to.
I did too.
Dude, it looked so cool, man.
That's what people saw coming in.
Yeah. How cool was that?
I interviewed a lot of people in line on Instagram.
Oh, you did?
And they were just all such AC/DC fans that I just felt so proud that I was like, I know that they're going to be rocked on this. It's not going to be your cheesy cover band. It's dudes that really love AC/DC, and we're going to do it.
And know the catalog, because it seems to me, I could be crazy, but if you're a fanatic, and we're both fanatics, like that record to me is... That's the golden record.
Right.
That's the bridge. That says everything right there, And I imagine that the fans, the hardcores who showed up, like that dude who was headbanging, and he knew every word. Like, that's where we got that contingent who are like, yeah, if you guys are playing Powerage, I'm getting on a plane, you know what I mean, from Texas, from New York.
Fucking
like
crazy.
I gotta go watch this. Because when do you hear those songs played live?
AC/DC never even played them.
No, dude.
Like on the Powerage tour, they did Rock and Roll Damnation and Riff Raff.
Yeah.
But they never did What's Next to the Moon.
Gone Shootin'.
Kicked in the Teeth again.
Yeah, never,
You know?
dude. No.
Or what's the last one on there? I think. Oh, it is Kicked in the Teeth.
Is the last one.
There's
but
the last three you're never gonna hear live, which is interesting. You know.
Yeah.
I just pretty blown away by the whole thing. And it's taken me a couple days to even come down from it.
Yeah, Down Payment Blues.
Up to My Neck and You.
Oh, yeah, that's Up to My Neck and You. Down Payment Blues. Like, when do they play these songs? What's Next to the Moon? That's never happened.
Give Me a Bullet to
Give Me
Bite
a
On.
Bullet.
Yeah.
That's the song I was thinking about with the walking bass line. That's the one I questioned about Cliff Williams.
That was a great one to sing.
Oh, dude. And
Give me a bullet to battle.
Yeah.
Something to chew.
Yeah.
And I'll make believe.
Yeah.
I'll make believe it's you. I love that, man.
Yeah, man.
I'll tell you, some of them were hard to sing, man. You know, What's Next to the Moon and Gone Shooting and Up to My Neck, because they're just bizarre tunes.
They are. They're such B-sides.
Yeah.
They're so dug deep into the AC/DC catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was it was interesting. I'll tell you guys what we did. So the Monday night, everybody flew in that was playing. Steve flew in from Nashville, which is what a fucking saint. It was amazing. I called Steve and I said, hey, I know this is a long shot, but you want to play this AC/DC gig? And he goes, when is it? I go, well, I know you do. You know, he's got the radio on Fox Sports. So I said, I know you do radio every day. He goes, when is it? I go, it's the 3rd. He goes, I'm in. I can do my show in L.A. And I go, what? And it instantly said, I'm in.
Awesome.
I was like, wow.
Awesome.
And then we got Josh and Billy flew in from San Fran.
Yep.
And then we got Rudy Sarzo and you and Nikki and Burr and Marin and George Lynch all live here. And Scott Ian.
Where does Dooley live? Is he?
Greg Dooley lives here in L.A. also. Mm-hmm. And so what we did was the Monday night, we rehearsed at Mates. That's the famous rehearsal place where GNR and the Cult and all the bands, Alice in Chains, everybody rehearsed for years.
Oh, yeah, man.
We got this big-ass fucking room. We got lucky. Someone canceled, and I got to move into the big room.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And there we were in this big fucking room. And I think the magic of these gigs is, and as you look at, of course, this is just a small little gig, but whenever you see an all-star big jam thing, like We Are the World, or the one they did with the Rockers, remember that one with Dio?
Yes.
That one, or let's just say Live Aid, or anything. Whenever
Little Steven did one too, I believe, a reggae kind of.
Whenever you're putting something like that, it's great to see these musicians as they spin in, and the egos are left at the door, and you really see they're a fan of the music and each other. Like, there's Nicky Six. He's like, wow, Michael Devin's great bass player, and then
what a great guy. Like, what a cool hang.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean? Like, just to talk to him, just to talk shop. Like, he loves rock.
Yeah,
you know
Scott
what I mean?
Ian,
Scott's the same way.
Loves Malcolm, and
dude,
he has the Malcolm tattoo,
that.
and I got the Bond tattoo, and he killed.
Yeah.
And then Greg Dooley, who's like a fucking, I idolize.
Yeah.
There he is up there singing Night Prowler.
Yeah, and
he was like a fucking, the mystique was him. Yeah. He rolled in, sang, and then disappeared.
Yeah.
I love it.
He did, dude.
I love that. Some rock star
shit. He turned into mist, He just killed it and left.
So we rehearsed. We rehearsed till around midnight, and then we all kind of chilled, and then the next day we loaded in around noon.
But let's not forget over the Solo Dallas guys, just like fine tuning as we're rehearsing all night.
Yeah,
those
Phil.
Phil's just going back and forth from amp to amp, just kind of dialing things in, and
and he's got
like
these
a mad scientist,
heads that like Angus used, and these wirelesses that Angus used. And Phil played with Mark Evans last year.
Yeah.
in an
great player in his own right.
Yeah,
for what he does.
AC/DC cover band through Europe, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's just here we got all the fucking mojo going.
Yeah.
And we brought it to the stage, and man, it was just insane. And like Burr talked about it on his podcast on Thursday, and was just saying it was like the greatest night of his life. And it was great because he said that in a tweet, and I tweeted. He said, "Thanks, Dean, for letting me play. It was the greatest night of my life." And I said, "Now you know what it's like when I open for you. It's the greatest night of my life." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy did the Garden.
Yeah.
He did stand-up comedy, headlined the Garden, and he said this was the greatest night of his life. I was like, fucking hey, dude.
Yeah.
But it was a magic night.
Totally, dude. It was totally a magic night. And I knew when I pulled up for sound check, I'm pulling into the parking lot, and I can hear you guys playing. But I'm thinking, wow, Delray's got some kind of weird... I couldn't make out the bootleg, like, because I got a bunch of AC/DC bootlegs that I know them pretty well, and I'm like, what the fuck is this one? I'm like, I can't make it out, dude. I swear to God, I thought you had a bootleg piped through while everyone was out, waiting to get in,
Right.
while the queue was being formed. Then I'm getting closer, and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are playing, like this is live. I was running to the stage to plug in, man. I was so psyched to get on that stage and sound check. Like, holy shit. It's like I couldn't get into the pool quick enough when I'm a kid on a summer day.
Yeah, right?
You know what I mean? Like
the high dive.
Yeah, let's get at this, It was so good, man. I knew, and when I came in, I saw the LEDs were already lit up with the Powerage album cover, man, and I'm like, this is gonna so rock right now.
Yeah.
Because I was still kind of flying a little high from the sound check the night before
The
with
rehearsal,
the hang, man. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
rehearsal. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That was insane.
Everybody's just coming in and just crushing it, hanging. Burr and Nikki and Scott.
Marin.
Marin just hanging.
Marin slaying it.
Yeah, dude.
Slaying it with his gold top.
Yep.
56 with the P90s.
Yeah, dude. Coming in. Just killing it. So nervous up to the very last minute about like doing the solo. He's like,
I know.
Okay, and it goes like,
So maybe I'll just hang back and play the rhythm. I'm like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
You're doing this.
yeah.
And so, come on, man.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
He called me. He's like, maybe I'll just, it might be a clusterfuck. I might not show up. I'll just do comedy.
Yeah.
I was like, no, man.
No, dude.
No.
Fuck you. Pull that guitar out,
Fucking
man.
great.
Yeah.
He got this.
He killed it. Yeah.
Fucking killer, man.
Yeah, but the hang leading up to the show, up to the downbeat of the comedy, and then when the comedy started, man.
Yeah, man, that was a great gear.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. So what we did was we had seats for the comedy part. Everybody was seated. And then when the rock part started, we took a 15-minute break, and those chairs were out of there in 1 minute. Fucking couldn't believe how efficient that was.
Yeah.
But when the comedy started, I went on first, and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I could tell. Because went on Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Nikki brought me up, and I was Stone Cold, the first comic.
Yeah.
And I've been doing so many shows over the last 8 years that I was like, oh, this is going to be fire.
Yep.
And by the time, I was done and Joey went on and then Marin went on, by the time Marin was laying into him and, fuck you,
the
let
guy
me finish the joke, you cocksuckers and stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this is great, man. It's like, the rock crowd is going like, oh, this is different. This is comedy. Okay.
Yeah.
We listen.
Yeah, because they're getting amped.
Yeah, they're getting amped.
Yeah.
And that fucking LED poster is about 40
It's taunting
feet high.
them.
Yeah, I know.
It's true.
I tell you, man, also my friends that flew in, Joey and Fletch and John and to have friends there, my
your
oldest
Bay
friends.
Area guys, man.
Yeah,
the
and
Eagles cover band dudes.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
guy who plays bass in
Joey in the
He's a
Illegals.
sweetheart, man.
Yeah, and to have, those are my oldest friends, and they had played in the tribute to Bond with me years when we were kids.
Yeah.
And they'd seen this thing.
How cool is that?
Yeah, from like a little fucking party that we would do to this giant theater fucking thing.
Pulling all these people.
If we did it right, because
Yeah.
I think it's like it's an anniversary, a big one of Bond next year. I think it's like, I don't know, 35 or so. I'm not sure. I can't remember because he died in 80.
Yeah, 80.
So
Yeah.
We're both
February of 80.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
February 16th.
Yep.
But I mean, if you did it right, you could do the form. You know what I mean?
Yes, you could.
You could.
Absolutely.
If you had the same comics.
Yep.
And then you advertise the big band guys, and maybe you get like a Josh Homme, a Grohl, a few dudes in it,
Yeah.
You could really do the big daddy and then just tap out and never do it again.
Yes.
Yeah. Everybody's like, you're going to do it again next month? It's like, that thing, last time I did it, I got diabetes.
Oh, from the Delray at the Delray.
Oh, that fucking that one killed me. And this one, I immediately had to fly to New Mexico, Albuquerque, to
The next day?
You got to do these 3 gigs with Joey Diaz.
Okay.
And I couldn't sleep all night because I was so high from the
neither
gig.
could I. I was like, my eyes were pinned open like that was magic.
Yeah.
Dude, you can play huge shows. I've played huge festivals where I forget. And then you can do something like this where it's like, I will never forget that night.
Yeah,
It lingers is what I'm trying to say. Like the dust of that kind of just sort of lingers with you.
It takes a few days to come down from that kind of show because now I'm back doing regular stand-up and I got to readjust my mind of like, okay, back into the stand-up world.
No more volume, volume issues.
And also, I was so focused on stand-up up to this.
Yeah.
Because I was in New York for a month and I was really working my ass off. But on the downtime during the day, I was doing shit for this show.
Yeah.
And then once the show comes, I turned into the rock and roll and everything mode. I'm running around guest lists, sound check, food, gear.
Oh, yeah.
Seats. Chairs.
Yeah, chairs.
Yeah. People.
Yeah.
Get the people in.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
Everything. So when that was all done, it was like, man. And I can't tell you how fucking smooth it went. It was great to do, and thanks for doing it, dude.
It feels good, though, to get back onto a stage where you just got one mic and, you know what I mean?
People think, man, get your band back. You ought to do rock and roll and stuff. It's like, man, you don't understand. As great as that was, I've had so many comedy shows that were monumental in the last 8 years that were just mind-blowing to me.
And now look, you're parlaying that into back into your love for rock and roll.
100%.
It's feeding your passion for that.
It really is, man. And I'm a 52-year-old man in rock and roll. I always say it's a young man's game.
Yes, it is. So you either better learn how to stay young.
Yep.
Or tap out, you know what I mean? Or, and support, support the younger cats coming up too,
right. I mean, this kind of shit is fun.
Yeah.
And it was monumental. But I still can't explain to people what comedy means to me.
Yeah.
It's like rock and roll is my whole life.
Yeah.
But I feel now rock and roll got me to where I am now in comedy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? All my experience and shit. I took the long way to comedy.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yes, it is. And it's funny because it's now that I've spent some, considerable amounts of time watching you do your comedy and everyone who I've met through you doing comedy, I've seen how you craft a joke. It's not dissimilar to crafting a song. Like you've got something on your mind and it's a big mound of clay and you kind of just keep working this thing like you would intros, outros, verses and bridges and choruses. It's like you're fine-tuning this thing like you would a song. It's fascinating to me. This is something that I will forever be fascinated with, which is how you construct something to get to the point where it's perfect as it is. Like a joke turns into a perfect 3-minute song if you just keep working it. It's fascinating.
What's great about jokes is like I look at it in the Grateful Dead thing of mine or Allman Brothers or whatever.
Yeah.
A joke you can jam anytime.
Yeah.
There's no one way the joke goes if you're not a one-liner type of comic.
Right.
One-liner comic is like bop, 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 boom,
Done.
bop, bop, bop. Or the boom, 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 left turn.
Yes.
Oh, shit, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
But if you're a comedian that has stories and jokes in the stories, it's a jam.
Yes.
And you can change it all the time. You can, morph it to wherever you're at, or where you're at in your frame of mind.
Sure.
Or, look,
or where you're at literally at the venue. Like the last time I rolled with you, you had a couple of gigs in the same night.
Right.
And so you were telling the same jokes, you're doing your same bits, but you changed it at the second gig because it was a later show, remember?
Yeah. Yep.
And you were talking about, what did you call it? The check crowd, right?
the check drops.
The check drops.
Right.
So you had a different kind of I noticed,
energy.
yeah, it was a little bit more aggressive, like you were aggressing the audience because it seemed like that was
their attention because they're they're fading. It's later, and you got to boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, but it changes the inflection of your joke.
Yeah,
your verbiage, like what words you're using. You used more profanity.
Yeah.
Like there were things where I went, wow, this is a little more like death metal compared to the last one, which is a little more like just rock and roll.
Yeah, man.
Fascinating shit, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Yeah,
and,
I can tell.
And as people, you've got to understand, man, the luckiness of being able to love one thing all your life and then be able to do another thing that you even love more.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling to me. So I want to thank everybody that came out. I want to thank everybody that played this gig and all of my friends. I'm lucky to have everybody that was on that stage. It was I do not take it lightly, and it was one of the most insane things in my mind to be sitting there and looking at Greg Dooley and Scotty Ian, George Lynch, Nikki Sixx, Rudy Sarzo, Burr on drums, Steve, Billy Rowe, Josh Z, all these guys, to see all these guys laying down some serious AC/DC, and everyone had a fucking smile on their face.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the town was buzzing the next day. The Instagram and Twitter feeds.
Oh, yeah. All day, all night.
Now, if you want to see some of this, I posted it up on my Dean Delray YouTube channel. I've split a couple songs by themselves, and then there's a highlight reel.
Cool.
Did you watch the highlight reel?
I did.
Yeah, 13 minutes. It's cool.
I did.
You get a little flavor of each one.
Oh, yeah. It's killer.
And
it gives you a feel of the night, man, for sure.
Really. So check that out. And thanks, everybody that came out. Wow.
Yeah, man. Thanks everybody that made that night, man. That night, it'll live on. And dude, thank you for calling me, bringing me into that, because
in a minute, I got some gigs coming up. You got some gigs coming up?
I got some gigs. Whitesnake, we go out this summer with Foreigner and Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Experience. But I've got some gigs coming up on the East Coast with my buddy who does an Eric Clapton tribute.
When is that?
That is actually next week. I fly out, and we're doing some dates in Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Connecticut. We're bouncing around up there a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to go out there and help him out and do some Cream, sing a couple tunes. Yeah. So look it up. It's called Journeyman, a tribute to Eric Clapton. Come check us out. Come say hi.
Where you see it online?
Yep, you can see it online. It's on Facebook. Actually, I believe his name is Sean Haig. He played with me in Kenny Wayne Shepherd back in the day.
Wow.
And when he was just a kid, he was barely out of his teenage years when that was going on. And we shared hotel rooms on that tour. He was my roomie.
One of those tours.
Yeah, so he was like my little brother. He's from Massachusetts. He's a masshole like me. So I kind of took him under my wing, and we've been friends ever since. So. Yeah,
Let's see. I'll be headlining Irvine Improv this week, April 11th, man. One night only. Come down. Me and Kevin Christie will be there tearing it up. Irvine Improv, April 11th. Get tickets. Nashville, coming to the Ryman Theater with Bill Burr. 2 nights. $420, dude. $420.
What are you talking about, man?
Dude, $420, dude. 420 and 21. May... I'll be headlining the Punchline May 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, Punchline. House of Comedy Arizona headlining May 17th through the 20th. And then Boston just got added June 7th, one night at Nick's Comedy Stop.
People.
Yeah, I'll be headlining there. So go to my website, deandelray.com for everything. And thank you for tuning in, everybody. And keep subscribing to the podcast, leaving reviews, keep the candles lit. We love you. And yeah, man, we'll see you next week. Thank you, Michael,
Rock and
for coming on.
roll. Thank you, my brother.
See you guys.
Peace.